Now we will discuss the 5 ways of explaining the existence of God by Thomas Aquinas. It is known in Latin quinque viae, or others use quinta via. Anyway, it just means 5 ways. So quin means 5, via means ways. So 5 logical explanation how to demonstrate the existence of God. Thomas Aquinas lived from 1225 to 1274 AD. So this argument is already been with us for a long time, and it has a lot of explanations. We're using here the translation by Thomas Gilby and Daniel Sullivan. Also, I use some of the explanations by James Brent and Robert Barron. This is the 5 ways. So in order, first mover or the unmoved mover as the title of God from the argument of motion, then first cause or the uncaused cause, this could be the name of God, and then in terms of causation, then necessary being, in terms of possibility and necessity, or contingency and necessity. Then the highest being in terms of gradation or the hierarchy of goodness, and then the intelligent designer in terms of beauty or order or also purpose. This is a logical explanation. It will demonstrate, for example, when you see a smoke in the street, this is from the example by James Brent, you will infer that there's a fire, though you did not see the fire, but in terms of the smoke that you are seeing, you infer an invisible logical explanation of it. And also, when you wake up with a sore throat, then you will infer, though you didn't see, but you will infer that there might be a bacteria, you are infected by a virus. So this is the way we explain this, and not in terms of a scientific explanation. But this is also a powerful explanation, because even you are not a believer of God, you are an atheist, or you're not a churchgoer, you may listen from this argument, and you may understood the point, and also try to weigh in or consider this reality of God's existence. The first and more manifest way in explaining God's existence is the argument from motion or change. Robert Barron clarifies that the original Latin word is motus, so it's proper in the word change, though other authors are also using motion. So here, there are 2 propositions to be proved. First, that everything in motion is set in motion by another. Nothing moves in itself. It's always one thing that is moving is always moved by another. Second, that an infinite series or infinite regression or an infinite regress of things setting and set in motion is impossible. It is illogical, even science would agree to this, it is illogical, it's not correct to have an infinite series or infinite regression or an ending series of one thing moving or moved by another. Here we imagine the domino tiles moved by a tile behind it, or for example the billiard ball also moving because being hit by the cue ball and the tackle of the player, or the world itself is rotating in its own axis and revolving around the sun. So everything you see that is moving is always moved by another, and at the same time there cannot be an infinite series of regression. Even scientific theories have this kind of thinking, as they also claim that it is the gravity or the matter, or it could be the energy, which is the source of everything that is in motion, or the Big Bang, for example. So it's very logical to think always this way, that things move and nothing moves in itself, and there can be no infinite regression. So therefore, we must conclude that there is and there must be a first mover which is unmoved in itself, not moving in itself. You may question if it is really need to be God to be the first mover or the unmoved mover, and you may just settle with the scientific explanation that it is either the matter or the energy or the gravity or the explosion. But you can never deny the logical explanation that there must be a first mover, because even science and philosophy and theology both agrees with this reality that there must be a first mover, and an infinite series of motion is illogical. But here, the best explanation is God, which is the first mover, because according to critics like Baron, that even the gravity and energy and matter are not the unmoved mover itself, because they're also subject to change. But when we say God, especially in the explanation and in terms of the description of God as the Alpha and Omega, which is immutable, not changing, and always remaining, then God as the first mover is a best explanation compared to the scientific offered suggestion, which is other than God. The second way is the argument from causation. It is similar to the first argument and also to the third argument. The first is in terms of motion or change. The third is in terms of necessity, we will discuss later. But here in the second is in terms of the causality or causation. There are two propositions to be proved here. First, everything that exists is caused by something, and then an infinite regression of causation is impossible. For example, as a person, you as a person is caused by something or someone, like your parents, and your parents are also caused by your grandparents, and then your great-grandparents, and so on and so forth. But for such a line to stretch back to infinity is not unthinkable. It must not be an infinite regression because it will be illogical, and even science would not agree to an infinite regression. Therefore, it is a valid, strong argument that there must be a first cause or an uncaused cause, the one who caused everything, but in itself not caused by something. It is similar to the Kalam's argument. Kalam argument is from the Muslim argument, which goes like this: whatever begins to exist has a cause, and the universe or the cosmos began to exist. Therefore, the universe or the cosmos has a cause or an uncaused cause, and it's very much backed up by scientific theories in this kind of thinking, as they also claim that the universe is really as a beginning. For example, in thermodynamics or the theory of relativity and even the Big Bang theory, and also the evolution. If for the Big Bang theory, we began from the singularity and the explosion, and in the evolution, we began from a single organism. But still, it begs a question: what caused the explosion, or what is the cause also of the first organism? In which they cannot answer. And to side note, I already discussed in the previous video that these proponents of this, for example, Big Bang theory and evolution, are believers of God as well. The Big Bang theory proponent is George Lemaitre, who is a Catholic priest, not just a believer of God, but a priest in himself. And also the evolution is by Charles Darwin, which he states in his autobiography in page 92 that even the evolution is designed by God. So the first organism is also caused by an uncaused cause, in which very much congruent to our idea of God. Here we're not saying the God of the gaps, in a sense that since the scientific theories cannot explain what is the cause or the first cause of everything, and then therefore it is God. No, the point only here is that everything that you see and also the scientific theories are in line with this argument that there must be an uncaused cause, and very much like to our idea of the first cause of everything, which is God as the creator. Here we read the direct quotation from the translation of the work of Thomas Aquinas himself, which he says that in a world of sense, we find there is an order, efficient causes. Efficient means the one who is causing the existence. So, for example, this video I am making, I am the efficient cause of making this video. There is no case known, or indeed is it possible, in which a thing is found to be efficient cause in itself. Which is impossible. Now, in efficient causes, it is not possible to go on infinity, because in all efficient causes following in order, the first is the cause of the intermediate cause, be several or one only. Now, to take away the cause is to take away the effect. Therefore, if there is no first cause among the efficient causes, there will be no ultimate nor any intermediate cause. But if in efficient causes it is possible to go on infinity, there will be no first efficient cause, neither will there be an ultimate effect nor any intermediate efficient causes, all of which is plainly false. Therefore, it is necessary to admit a first efficient cause to which everyone gives the name God. And indeed, man's natural reason tells himself that he is under a higher power, causing his own existence and also the existence of the universe. And whatever that higher may be, it is what most of us or all people term as God.